This is Daily Armenia, CivilNet's daily news digest. Here's what you need to know today. Over the weekend, Armenia offered Azerbaijan to create a joint mechanism for investigating reports of ceasefire violations, reiterating a proposal made earlier this month. The staff of the Armenian Prime Minister proposed to the Azerbaijani president's office through diplomatic channels to create a bilateral mechanism for investigating cases of ceasefire violations, Nikol Pashinyan's office said in a statement Saturday. This came after Armenia denied yet another claim it had fired across the border on Azerbaijani forces, the fourth such claim in the last week. Toivo Klar, the European Union's special representative to the region, welcomed Armenia's proposal to reduce tensions in a post on X Sunday, adding that the EU is ready to share its expertise organizing such meetings. Azerbaijan has so far not responded publicly to Armenia's proposal. In related news, however, articles in Azerbaijani state and government-aligned media began over the weekend making references to what it called an imminent Third Karabakh War, citing Armenia's deal last week to purchase 36 Caesar artillery howitzers from France and its unwillingness to change its constitution as Azerbaijan has demanded. Turkey, alongside a number of Arab states, has welcomed Armenia's decision last Friday to recognize Palestine. We welcome Armenia's decision to recognize the state of Palestine. The recognition of Palestine is a requirement of international law, justice, and conscience, Turkey's foreign ministry said in a statement hours after Armenia's recognition. That same day, Armenia's top diplomat, Ararat Mirzoyan, held a telephone call with his Jordanian counterpart, Ayman Safadi, who also welcomed Armenia's recognition and called it a step in line with efforts to establish lasting peace in the region. Meanwhile, Saudi Arabia, which established diplomatic relations with Armenia just last November, called the recognition a significant step towards the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. Per a foreign ministry statement on Saturday, Palestine also welcomed Armenia's announcement, stressing the depth of historical and fraternal relations between the Armenian and Palestinian peoples. The Palestinian Foreign Ministry called Armenia's decision a real contribution to peace and a practical step to support the two-state solution. Other countries that applauded Armenia's move include Egypt, Lebanon, and Qatar, as well as the Arab League. Hours after Armenia recognized Palestine, Israel summoned Armenia's ambassador for a stern reprimand, according to a foreign ministry statement. What's more, Russia's state-run TASS news agency quoted an advisor to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, warning that Armenia's recognition of Palestine will have serious long-term consequences for Israel-Armenia relations. Those relations have hardly been good, however, with Israel being one of Azerbaijan's primary suppliers of weapons, which were used against Armenians in multiple attacks since 2020. Law enforcement last Friday summoned former Artsakh President Samvel Shahramanyan for questioning, while smashing the gates of the Artsakh permanent representation in Yerevan and seizing Shahramanyan's limousine. Shahramanyan's lawyer told Radio Azaduchun, RFE-RL's Armenian service, that the police did not produce a court warrant, calling their actions illegal and politically motivated. Armenia's investigative committee quickly refuted the accusation, saying the car was impounded as part of an ongoing criminal investigation into Shahramanyan's bodyguard and driver, Ashot Danielyan. Officers impounded and searched the car for the first time in February, after briefly arresting Danielyan on suspicion of drug trafficking. Investigators tried to seize the vehicle again earlier this month, but were unsuccessful after Shahramanyan's aides confronted them. On Saturday, Archbishop Bagrat Galstanian, the leader of Armenia's ongoing anti-government protests, gave Shahramanyan his vehicle to use instead. Earlier, Pashinyan accused unspecified members of Karabakh's leadership of encouraging Karabakh Armenian refugees to participate in the protests. The day prior, Shahramanyan had declared that Karabakh refugees have a legal and moral right to protest peacefully, while criticizing riot police's behavior. The mayors of 3 Karabakh towns, including the capital Stepanakert, are currently facing charges of fraud and forgery, which they deny and claim are politically motivated. Their lawyer called these cases retribution for Karabakh Armenians' participation in the anti-government protests. A Russian hacktivist group is claiming responsibility for a series of denial-of-service attacks earlier this month against Armenian government and law enforcement websites. According to a report last week from the Armenia-based organization Computer Emergency Response Team, the attacks by the People's Cyber Army appear to be politically motivated, targeting Armenia's perceived shift towards Western alignment and away from traditional ties with Russia, according to the CERT. The People's Cyber Army is known for launching coordinated cyber attacks against countries it perceives as being enemies of Russia and uses social media to crowdsource potential targets and attack methods. CERT called the attacks a significant escalation in the deteriorating relationship between Armenia and Russia. In the latest edition of CivilNet's weekly business digest, we cover warnings from Armenia's burgeoning tech community that law enforcement's raid earlier this month on the taxi company Gigi is fueling concern from foreign investors. Also, the Armenian government delayed plans to take a minority stake in the long-stalled Amulsar gold mine project and is also in talks with the Emirati state-owned renewable energy company Masdar to salvage a major solar power plant deal. You can find more about these stories at the link in the description. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent reporting from our contributors on the ground here in Armenia.